truly, before now, I didn't really know what actually a mouthpiece was designed for, other than to keep you from clinking your teeth together or biting your tongue. I had no idea that it was to align your jaw. The season that we did not use the Power Plus, we lost 4 kids, 2 that were season-ending concussions, and obviously we contributed to the Power Plus mouth guard because, like I said, we've not had one since we've been using them. Obviously, we've competed a lot better than what we did last year. We have not had a concussion this season. Obviously, a tremendous factor for us for not losing kids, and their performance level is a lot higher as well. My son was actually the quarterback on the second state championship team, but one of the things that he was able to do as being the quarterback, the mouth guard was on the lower part of his bite, so he was able to speak clearly. And that's a huge thing in athletics, is to be able to communicate.
Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie, and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. So like and subscribe and check us out.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
The Northeast Texas Sports Network is dedicated on delivering the most entertaining sports broadcasts in East Texas. And if you're interested in having your next sporting event streamed live, visit us online at netsn.live.
Welcome, everyone, to the Beasts from the East show. It's your boy, Brett Swinney here. Alongside of me, I've got Christian Blevins and Kyle Owens today. What's going on, guys?
What's up? Well, the Friday the 13th Friday carried over into Saturday, which carried over into Sunday. So we've had a weird weekend of football.
Yeah,
it has been very weird.
It's been very poor and good and poor. So Friday poor, Saturday good, today poor.
Well, depends on your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, my Horns didn't play. I was thankful that they were off this week and missed all this chaos nonsense. But today, of course, tonight is the big time for me. I'll have the Rangers on. No football. Cowboys don't play till tomorrow. So for me, it's kind of okay. Maybe the Cowboys will miss out on it because they're not playing on the weekend. They'll play on Monday. So Friday night was definitely weird. I don't know how you guys' picks went, but mine was kind of this week. 6-4, but it wasn't the worst. There's a lot of folks that had struggles this week. Nobody got. I think the highest was 8.
Yeah, I went 8-2.
I went 7-3.
I would have went 9-1. If you remember last week, I was torn. I said I want to pick Gladewater. But I didn't pull the trigger, and I should have pulled the trigger on Gladewater. I would have went 9-1. But I'm only 4 behind from old Jason Shivers on that top spot. So I'm coming for him. There's a few weeks left. I'm coming for him.
You're getting too close to me, Kyle. I don't like that.
I'm only 1 behind you.
I know. I'm still. I actually didn't lose any ground to the top spot either. I think Shivers is right there in my range too. So, but yeah, I think it was just one of those weird weeks that you have every once in a while, and we had I think one person pick Lindale, and then Gladewater. I don't know how many. Do y'all remember how many picked that one? There wasn't very many on that one either. I think it was just to be a handful. So, it was
On the
just
Gladewater game?
Yeah. It wasn't very many.
It looks like 68 picked Sabine and 3 picked Gladewater.
So those are probably two of the biggest upsets all season. I don't know if we had anybody that just picked by themselves. I think your boy, I think it was your boy Jake that picked Lindale. So I think he was the only one that
Wait a
stuck.
second. Corey
Well,
didn't pick Lindale after everything he said last week. He didn't pick Lindale.
I'm about 95% sure that was not Corey.
Wait a second, then I don't. Then he shouldn't have sent the little clip he sent us then because he didn't stand behind his pick.
So let me check just to verify. Week 8. We can research. We can look this up.
If he did pick him, I don't.
Well, he should have picked him the way he talked last week.
I mean,
Corey picked Chapel Hill.
Oh boy.
Well, so don't
Every
believe a
time-
word Corey says the rest of the time on this show because he ain't gonna stand by his word.
Every time somebody says they pick Chapel Hill, this week I've just been disastrously.
It was our
broken.
man. It was our man from the weekly wrap-up show, Jake Munoz, that picked Lindale. But he was one.
He's true. He's a Lindalian, and he's stuck with Lindale through and through. He was the only one. I'm disappointed in Corey. Corey rode for Lindale last week and then didn't even pick him. Well.
Yeah. Oh well. Hey, good news is, where's that sheet? Let me throw it away.
Yeah.
Throw that one out the window. Let's start over again. Week 9. Week 9 here, guys. I can't believe it's already week 9. Just these weeks are going by quickly. We're coming up these last 3 weeks. Playoff implications everywhere in these games we've got coming up. Game 1. A battle of two teams that are playing well in Longview and McKinney North. Game will be in McKinney. McKinney North has played well so far. I mean, of course, Longview has as well, but I don't know that when we started the district play, I was thinking Longview and Lancaster at the top. Now you've got Longview and Forney up there, and then McKinney North. So all 4 of those teams, very good. I know that this district is probably one of the toughest around. I'm going with Longview in this game. I think they're going to go on the road and take care of business. I don't think it'll be easy. I think it's a close game. But I'm going to go with the Lobos in this one over McKinney North.
Oh boy. I will say this: McKinney North. They've been playing such good football. I think you know what I know because I know me and Sweeney. Me and you were at the game, but I think it all started when they beat Tyler High. They knocked off the mojo of them. Ever since then, they've been playing like, just some of the closest to perfect games.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna give here's the thing. I'm gonna give McKinney North maybe about a 30% chance to upset Longview. That's if they can stop Taylor Tatum.
Can I give y'all a quick fact? Okay.
Yeah.
Longview is 6-1 in the year. Their lone loss was to McKinney.
6-8.
Where was the game played? In McKinney. So they're going to return to the stadium with their only loss and play a different McKinney school this time. Makes it interesting.
That was my point that I was going to make, Brett.
Oh,
so
sorry, Kyle. I'm
stealing
sorry.
my thunder.
I didn't mean to steal it.
But that was going to be my point, is that Longview only has one loss, but their one loss was in McKinney. But the other point I was going to make, Longview's loss to McKinney was by 2 points.
Yeah.
McKinney North, McKinney North's only loss is to Justin Northwest by 3. So both teams only have one loss by 3 or 2 points. What does this for me is we saw Longview play Lufkin. Longview blanked Lufkin 42-0.
Mm-hmm.
McKinney North struggled with Lufkin. Lufkin really had a chance to win that game, being them 46-39. The only other, team that we can compare with McKinney North, Longview also beat Lancaster 52-35. where McKinney North beat Lancaster 28-21. I just feel like McKinney North has played the district games closer than Longview has. And so I think Longview's the stronger team. So because of that, I'm picking the Lobos.
All right.
And just to be clear, I'm picking the Lobos too. I just said I was going to give McKinney North maybe a good 30% chance to maybe beat Longview.
Uh-oh.
Corey,
Corey,
I don't want to hear it. You can change your name. I don't want to hear it. You didn't stand behind your pick. You didn't pick Lindell. You said all that about Lindell, but you didn't even pick Lindell.
Hold on. First of all, I was never going to pick Lindell. You know that. But I did say it was a trap game. I stand by that.
But you didn't pick him. You should have picked him.
I'm not gonna pick him. I'm not picking against. I'm not picking against Chapel Hill. Come on, I don't care if it's against Cowboys. I'm not picking against Chapel Hill. That's against the rules.
Hey,
I'm sticking with my team.
How about the Cleveland Browns today, Corey?
Cleveland Browns are good. Got a top 5 defense, man.
No,
I'm
sorry, Corey. You came in the room. You got attacked. We're talking Longview, McKinney North. Who you got?
Longview.
Oh my God.
You got any theory behind that, or are you just picking the better team?
I'm picking wrong. I'm not picking against East Texas team.
That's one of his theories. I do not pick against an East Texas school against a non-East Texas school. Theory number 512.
Listen, Corey, at some point you're gonna have to break the streak of picking against any type of other school. You're gonna have to break that streak one day. I'm gonna be real honest. Break it one day, and me and you will be just fine.
Okay, I can't break it. That's the point of me. If I wanted to pick if I wanted to pick for pick'ems, I could really pick for pick'ems. But hey, I'm picking because somebody's got to be the outlier.
So what you're saying is you have a gimmick, and your gimmick is to cause chaos.
A little bit. It's like 90% chaos, or 85% chaos.
Controlled chaos. Controlled chaos.
It is absolutely controlled.
Gotcha.
It is absolute control. Just so you know, I am not that crazy. I'm not that crazy. Trust me.
We just need a list of all his theories so we can make a T-shirt. That's all I'm saying. We need the CM Theory T-shirt.
Well, Vince is the one who's crazy about chaos. So I don't know. All I'm just saying is, can you please pick a Dallas team one? Just once. Just once.
I'll pick the Dallas Stars. That's the only Dallas Mavericks. Those are the only two. Those are the only two Dallas teams. I don't dislike. Rangers. I don't not like the Rangers. I like the Astros more. Does that make sense?
Oh Lord.
So if the Rangers are if the Rangers versus the Dodgers, I'm going against the Rangers. I'm going for the Rangers, right? But if it's the Rangers and obviously the Astros, I'm watching the game. I'm going for the Astros.
Oh, you're going to root for those cheat stros.
Yeah.
Baseball cheats. I hate that thing. Everybody in baseball cheats. They just got
but to get caught doing it in the World Series, that's different.
No, they were sore losers, and they decided to say something, and that's what happened. They just got beat, and they couldn't do it. Everybody still signs of baseball. It's too easy.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Game 2, Tyler High Lufkin. Basically an elimination game in this district. The loser is probably not going to be in the playoff hunt. The other one still has a chance. I mean, they're still both kind of on the outside right now. Lufkin's looked better to me overall for the year. I think, you look at who they've played. They beat Legacy a little bit, pretty handily. They beat Nacogdoches, which they're up and down. You never know. They did lose to Longview and Forney, and McKinney North, but those are the top 3 in the district. So Lufkin still controls their own destiny. They could get down to that last week of the season and have a chance to beat Lancaster and to get in. They haven't played them yet. This game is at Rose Stadium in Tyler. So I think it'll be a tough one, but I think Lufkin goes into Rose Stadium and gets the win and knocks off Tyler
High. I'm going to go with Tyler High. I think they have to be honest with you, I think they have a better running attack, better than Lufkin does. I think that Lufkin's defense They haven't really been good at stopping the run all year. So I'm gonna go with Tyler Hyde because I think they can just run the ball flat out better. Now, if Tyler Hyde if they make Caden Granberry throw the ball to beat them, then Lufkin's probably going to win that game by at least 3 points. But if they can run the ball and Tyler Hyde's offensive line can do some damage to Lufkin's defensive line and pretty much that whole front seven, um, I think that Tyler Hyde will win the game.
Well, it's not for a district championship, which is where we kind of expect these two teams historically to be battling for, both Tyler High and Lufkin. But nonetheless, it's a playoff game in week 9 because, like you said, Brett, the winner controls their own destiny pretty much, and then the loser's eliminated. So pretty much a playoff game. Did you know that this weekend at Rose Stadium on Friday, they will be honoring the 50-year anniversary for the 73 state championship team for the John Tyler Lions? Earl Campbell, Tyler Rose may be in attendance. You can't lose if Earl Campbell's in attendance. With all that being said, Christian, you were talking about Tyler's running backs. I think the best running back on the field Friday night will be Keedron Young for the Lufkin Panthers. Dude's a stud. I'm back and forth on this one. I don't know if I want to pick Tyler High or Lufkin. Tyler High just doesn't start fast enough for me. I think they kind of sleepwalk through the first half and try to come back, and they've been doing a good job of that coming back this year. But Lufkin's quarterback just came back off an injury. I'm taking Lufkin. Give me the pack. I'm taking Lufkin.
Oh, Lord. The disrespect.
Yeah.
I love it. Y'all know I'm not picking Lufkin, so it don't even matter. Tyler High, and the only thing I hope for is that this game has the crowd. It's a massive crowd at the game. That's what I hope for, because we hadn't seen a Lufkin Tyler game that's been big like it used to be back in the day. Like, I'm not saying that they should fight, but I'm just saying I want that rivalry to just y'all remember. I know Brett remembers that the Robert Lee Lufkin fight and Robert and Lufkin. That was hilarious. As you see on TV, all of a sudden you see these big sides, but it was always some kind of hoopla going on back in the day. But I want to see that rivalry renewed. It's the best time ever to do it. It's for going into district. Both teams are trying to reemerge, so to speak. This is Tyler's. Tyler's 5-2. I mean, they 7-3, they still won't make the playoffs. Can you imagine? Like, somebody's gonna be 7-3 and they may not make the playoffs. Tyler could be 7-3 and not make the playoffs. It's crazy. So that's still a good. I mean, it's still a winning season, but nonetheless, you still want to get in the playoff. This is their chance to punch the ticket. I'm going Tyler all the way. They're not letting me down.
Well, and here's the thing with Tyler, Corey. I don't see them. This is their last chance to win a football game this year. To me, like, I don't think they're beating Longview. I don't think they're beating Forney.
I think they'll beat Forney.
I don't think they'll beat either one.
They'll have a 50, maybe a half and half, 50% chance to upset Forney. They're not beating Longview.
Forney almost got beat by Lancaster, and Lancaster beat Tyler by 7-6. That's a winnable game for those guys. I think that's a winnable game for Tyler.
Yeah, you never know. But Forney almost beat Longview, if you're going to say that. They lost to him.
It was a bad game for Longview.
So
it could have been a bad game for Longview.
And then Longview beats Lufkin by 42. So it's just this district's kind of strange. That top, 6 teams are pretty solid. So it's going to be interesting the way it shakes out. Right now, look, to me, I see Longview at 1 and Forney right there at 2. And then Lancaster and McKinney North at 3 and 4 there. That's who I see making the playoffs. Unfortunately, I don't think the 2 East Texas teams are going to get in. Lufkin's got the best chance because they do have Lancaster that week 11 game. So if they can win out, they have an easier schedule finishing as Lufkin finishes with Tyler High. And then they've got West Mesquite. That's a winnable game. And then Lancaster on the road. That could be for a playoff spot. So Lufkin, I think Tyler High could win this game and still not make the playoffs. I think the better chance is Lufkin winning just because of what they've got left. They've got more winnable schedule left than what Tyler High has. Tyler High has kind of gone through the top people and haven't had success there. So I think it's going to be tough for them to make it.
I'm changing my pick. I'm taking Tyler. I'm changing my pick. I'm taking Tyler.
Thank you. Gosh.
All right.
I can't say what I said about Earl Campbell being in town and them honoring the 50-year championship team and then expect the Lions to lose. That ain't
They
gonna
better
happen.
not lose.
I have a question, Kyle. Do these kids even know who Earl Campbell is?
Don't be disrespectful like that.
I'm
Brett.
just saying. I'm just saying.
They have to. I'm sure he's got stuff up in the school. I'm sure they see him.
And you know our kids are. Hey,
you watch his highlights on YouTube.
Listen, I
had no idea.
I met Earl Campbell when my dad was a part of the 1994 state championship team, and Earl Campbell came into some barbershop to get his hair cut, and that's when I met him. And on the same day, that's when they got inducted into the Hall of Fame. So I met him when I was like 8 or 9 years old. But
that was the same time I met him. I was around the same time I met him.
Well,
that was
I think either way, though, this is going to be a really good game. I just don't. Tyler has bitten me a few times this year, and I just don't trust him right now. I mean, I'm not gonna. I just think that Lufkin is playing a little better. I think they've got.
Brett, I know you can't look me in my eyes. I'm telling you, Tyler is going to win this game.
Okay.
There's no way. There's no way they're gonna lose this game.
Okay.
It ain't happening.
But the problem is with your pick, Corey. I can't. You would pick Tyler High if they had some scrubs off the street and didn't have any coaches.
If they were 0-7, if they were 0-7,
pick Tyler High.
If they were 0-7, and
how do
you
you
be a difference? Like
how are you going to convince me that they would win if you would pick them no matter if they didn't have anybody? If they were fielding a team of 11 runts that were 5'4" and 110 pounds against Lufkin, you'd tell me that they would win.
I'm telling you they would win this weekend. Okay, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you right now.
That's okay.
But, hey, go with Lufkin.
I'm going to go with Lufkin. I'm going to gain a pick on you three. I'm trying to get it. Kyle's gotten too close to me. I'm glad he switched. That gives me a chance to get ahead of him.
Hey, this was almost our red zone game of the week. Almost. We went with a different game, but this one almost was because it was such a big matchup.
I can see. I think it can go either way. I just don't trust Tyler High right now. I believe Lufkin's a little bit better. It comes down to it right there. I think Tyler High can win. Yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised either way. I know we'll talk about this in the wrap up, but that was the way I felt about the ARP Troop game, and it turned out that way. I thought either team could win. ARP was ahead at some points of the game. They didn't win. Troop was a little bit better. I just thought ARP could play with them, and it was at home. So I think it turned out a little bit. Honestly, it was closer than what you guys probably thought. I just thought it was going to be a close game.
Well, I thought the Chapel and Liddell was going to be a close game, but obviously not.
Well,
yeah. It was close. 12 points is close.
But don't worry, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that in a minute. We got a lot to say about that one.
We'll get to that. We got to wrap it up for that one. All right. So game 3, a district implication game. In this district is we have Winona and Grand Saline. I got to see Grand Saline play when we went to Grand Saline. When they played ARP, they played them pretty close for most of the game. ARP pulled away. Winona kind of threw a loop and everything, and they beat Edgewood. Okay, so you got Winona that beat Edgewood. Grand Saline lost to Edgewood by 1, and they try to go for 2. So I mean, this one right here is important. I think both teams are still trying to fight for that bottom tier of the playoffs. And just pulling up the way the playoffs are standing right now in this district here, you've got West Rusk and Troop. We'll talk about that game. They're playing this week. You've got ARP at 2-2, Edgewood 2-2, and these two teams are at 1-2 and 1-3 respectively. For Grand Saline, it's a must win. Grand Saline has this game and Troop left, so I don't think they're beating Troop. If they're to have any chance at all, they've got to win against this game against Winona. Okay. You've got Edgewood's at 2-2 right above them. Them and ARP are on a collision course. It looks like they're probably going to be fighting it out for that 3rd and 4th spot as well. So we'll see. I just don't think Winona can handle Grand Saline. I'm going with the Indians in this one.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Grand Saline. I just think that they probably would have a better chance than Winona does. Winona beat Edgewood, which we talked about that on the wrap-up show Wednesday, I think. But I'm gonna go with Grand Saline on this one.
Yeah, this is a big game. It's a really big game. Winona really holds their destiny in their own hands. They control their own destiny. If they can win, I don't think they could win out because like that Troop game. But if they can win 2 out of these last 3 games, they can find themselves in the playoffs.
They're winnable. They got Grand Saline equipment on there.
That's what I'm saying. But other than Troop, I don't think they. I would count them out at Troop, but they could win either the Grand Saline or Quitman game or both of those. Grand Saline is struggling a little bit right now. They've lost 3 in a row. They've been competitive in a couple of them, though. The West Rusk game last week wasn't real competitive, but it's West Rusk. For Grand Saline to get in, they're going to need to win out, which I don't think they're beating Troop, but they're going to need to win out and have some help where Edgewood's going to need to fall to ARP in order for them to get in. I think this is all a moot point because I think that Edgewood's probably going to get that 4th spot. And the only reason I say that is because these teams have beat up on each other. So for the purpose of this game, I'm going to take the Indians because they're at home and they've played in big-time games these past few years where Winona just hasn't been there. They haven't had to play – Winona hasn't played important games since 2019 when they last made the playoffs. So – Grand Saline's been in this position where they've needed to win to get in, and so I'm taking Grand Saline.
I really want to see Winona succeed because I feel like they have a real good gold mine of athletes. Like you said, they hadn't quite put it together, and I'm always an advocate of finding the right time of good inspiration. You know what I'm saying? This is a game. This is a very good game matched up. This Grand Saline game could propel them to win, to at least win the last one out of the other 3 games, one out of the other 2 games. They're not beating True for sure. So and y'all know how it is. It's a trap game. Grand Saline's on. They hadn't won a game in a minute. Neither is Winona. So Winona could go 0-3 or in the past 3 games, or Grand Saline go 0-4. Somebody's gonna win. I think it's gonna be a close game, but I'm picking Winona. I want Winona to win this game. I want them to prove me right and win this game, and I want them to get that win because, it's tough. Like they go 1-5. They're 1-5 right now. They control their own destiny. I want to see what they can do. I'm picking Winona.
They're actually 2-5, Corey. Winona. They beat Redwater. They beat Redwater and they beat Edgewood.
Redwater, okay.
Yeah. So they've got 2 wins in their pocket. So and to be 2-5, they still got a good chance because looking at it right now, they're 1-2 in district. So they beat Grand Saline. They go 2-2. They're probably going to lose to Troop 2-3. They can beat Quitman. They can go 3-3. Okay, say they go 3-3, and then you go over to the other schedule and you look at Edgewood because they're the other team that's fighting for that spot. Okay, they're 2-2 right now, but they have ARP and West Rusk left. They could easily lose those last 2.
They could lose both of those.
Yeah, we know they're going to lose to West Rusk. We think that ARP will take care of business. From what we've seen, I think ARP to me is the 3rd best team down in the district. We saw them compete with Troop last week. I think West Rusk, they had a rough outing in West Rusk. It's always a tough place to play. They had a few injuries. So I think they're a solid 3. They just have to take care of business. But Winona's got, like Kyle said, they've got the best path to it, but they've got to win this one.
Here's the problem, though. Even whoever gets the 4th spot out of that district gets hooks in the first round.
Oh,
so
No,
it's not. What are we really playing for?
We made the playoffs.
Getting to the playoffs, hey, it's just like college football. You get 6 wins, you get to a ball game. Kids get some TVs, T-shirts, lanyards. I don't know, they make it. $5,000 now. I don't know what they're giving at these ball games anymore, but the whole point is you want to get to a ball game. That's what you want.
I will say if Winona wins Friday night, they're getting in the playoffs. If they lose Friday night, all hell's going to break loose for that Final Four spot. But
it could be a three-way tie.
Winona controls their own destiny. And then if it comes to that three-way tie, then you're looking at point differential where, Winona beat Edgewood by 13 points, but Grand Saline only lost to Edgewood by 1. So then what's the score of this? It could get really hectic.
Sounds like a really good edition of the wrap-up show.
Yes.
All right. Game 4, Mount Pleasant and White House. This is an interesting matchup. I didn't think that we would get to this point where it would be. I thought White House was, but Mount Pleasant's kind of made their way quietly, just winning games. They won another one last week. So right now you've got in this district, you've got White House sitting at 3-0 and Mount Pleasant sitting at 2-1. Now, the game everyone's looking ahead to is the Textile White House game week following. But does White House bypass looking at this Mount Pleasant game? They shouldn't. Because right now Mount Pleasant's sitting right there, just waiting. Their only loss in district is to Texas High. So they beat Marshall and Nacogdoches, a couple of teams that are fighting for spots. This is tough. It's in Mount Pleasant, so it's at home in Mount Pleasant. I just think, just looking at the scores, Mount Pleasant looks like they're not a team that's putting up a whole lot of points. Their most points they put up this year is 38 to Pittsburgh. White House scores a lot of points. Of course, we talked about the defense thing. Can you stop somebody? But White House they've actually played decent defense in some of these games. No, we're not talking about stellar defense, but they've done enough to win. They beat Hallsville pretty bad last week. Hallsville, we've talked about, it's at the bottom. I don't know if before I would feel more confident about my pick maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm still going to go White House because I still think they're the better team, but I wouldn't be surprised if Mount Pleasant won this one at home.
Just like you said, Sweeney, White House's defense, let's be honest, they're terrible on defense. I mean, their secondary kind of it just doesn't sit well with me. I like their offense. Like their offense can score all day long, but if you can't play defense, I don't know how you're supposed to win against a team like Mount Pleasant that can literally just about do everything on offense. So, like I said, it wouldn't surprise me either, but because the defense is so bad for White House, I'm gonna go with Mount Pleasant on this one. I just think for one they have the better offensive line. They have the better offensive line. And then I think they're bigger up front. Their front 5 is bigger than White House's front 4. So I just don't like White House in this game. Their defense will literally be the reason why they'll probably lose this game. Now, it wouldn't shock me if they won, but I just don't see in a scenario where they can beat Mount Pleasant the way that Mount Pleasant is going. Like they had a close game against Marshall, or they beat Marshall. They beat Marshall, and they've been on the roll. So I got Mount Pleasant in this one.
A couple weeks ago, I picked Mount Pleasant to make the playoffs, and that win over Marshall, I think, in my mind, pretty much solidified them in the playoffs. This game, though, they don't need to win this game to get into the playoffs. It would help, absolutely, but they don't. This is not a must-win for Mount Pleasant, as much as I think it is a must-win for White House to keep that momentum rolling with a showdown with Texas High next week. So, and Corey talked about this last week with Chapel Hill and Lindale. This could be a trap game for White House. Could They could overlook Mount Pleasant and be looking at Texas High. The teams, the two losses that Mount Pleasant has, they've given up 62 and 58. I don't know much about Frisco Emerson, but I do know Texas High has a high potent offense. So the two games they've lost have been to offenses that can literally outscore them. The games they've won, they've played solid defense, held Marshall to 7, held Knack to 22. But White House has put up 54, 57, 35, 52, 45, 51. Like, they've been putting up some points. I know I say defense wins championships, and it does win championships, but offense wins games. So because of that, I'm taking White House.
What I do know about Frisco ISD is that it's pretty much an open ISD at this point. It's a come one, come all sort of district, and kind of got some insight on that. So every school's got like 3,000 kids almost. So I mean, they're gonna have they're gonna have good athletes no matter what. I think Emerson. I can't remember what Emerson was, but they were pretty legit. I want to say they just started playing football maybe a few years ago. I want to say I can't remember. It was one of I know it's like 3 or 4 of those schools like hadn't been exist in the past 10 years. So I think there's one of the newer schools. But anyway, um, I'm picking Mount Pleasant. Um, I'm not too sold on White House. White House has beat some teams they should have beaten badly, but I think against this is getting to I won't say the nut cutting time of the district, but it really is. They got to play the two hardest teams left in the district thus far. They got to play Mount Pleasant. And they got to play Texas High. So this is the first stepping stone already in the district. So they got to beat them. I don't think they're going to beat Texas High. I don't think they're going to beat Mount Pleasant. This is going to be a hard game. The travel's going to be a little distance. Mount Pleasant's playing good defense, and White House has been known to play up and down. And I think it's going to favor Mount Pleasant.
All right. Game number 5, Mount Vernon and Commerce. This is an interesting one in the district. We've got Winsboro at the top at 4-0, and you got Commerce, Mineola, Pottsboro, Mount Vernon. This is a big mess right here for the rest of the teams. I mean, you think Pottsboro, we thought they were going to compete against Winsboro. They didn't really compete. We know they're pretty much by far the best team in the district. You got Commerce. They got pounced by Winsboro. Mineola, they've got a rough end of their schedule. They've still got Winsboro and Commerce left. This district is going to be very interesting coming down the stretch. Kind of you got Rames and Bonham down at the bottom, but the other 5 are fighting for 4 spots here. We've talked about how good Mount Vernon has been. This year they have not been as good. They've already lost to Mineola in district. They've lost to Winsboro. They also lost to Sabine in district, which lost to a Gladewater team that hadn't won very many games. So how good is Mount Vernon? And you look at this district and how good's Commerce. So this one's tough for me. Okay. It is in Mount Vernon. The game is there. So I think that's obviously an advantage. I don't know. I think Mount Vernon's in desperation mode. They've got to win. It's going to come down to that last Mineola game at the end. I think could be a determination of who gets in the playoffs. You've got Mount Vernon. You got Commerce has Mount Vernon, Pottsboro, and Mineola left. So they've got three competitors. So they kind of, like we talked about Winona, they control their own destiny. I don't know. I'm going to go with the team I know, and that's Mount Vernon. They know how to play these big games. They've been in the big games. I know they have a new coach, but still the same guys that were there last year. They brought some of those guys back, and they know they've been in big games. So I'm going to go with Mount Vernon.
I'm gonna go. Wow, this game is a toss up. Because you are right. You're right. That district is a little funny. Um, I just Mount Vernon's offense I don't want to call them mediocre, but that's kind of like what they are. They're a little mediocre. Um, and Commerce is no joke. I think Commerce has a really, really good offense. Um, and they also have a decent defense too. Um, but I think that Commerce can walk into Mount Vernon and pretty much knock them off. And does Commerce have a playoff spot locked in?
Not locked in, no.
No, there's nobody right now. If you're looking at the district standings, you've got Winsboro at 4-0, Commerce, Mineola, Pottsboro all at 2-1, and Mount Vernon's 2-2. So
Okay, so
right now, Mount Vernon's lost to two of the teams above them, but they still have the other two. So this is one of them.
so Commerce still has. They can lose. They can lose the next 3 games and not make it. Pretty much.
Correct. They have Mount Vernon, Pottsboro, and Mineola left.
Oh wow.
Yeah, tough ending.
But if they lose the
Okay.
next 2 and then beat Mineola at the end of the year, then they can get in. So
it's wide open. I mean, you could have any combination of these teams, any combination of seedings. I mean, Winsboro is number 1. We've kind of established that they're head and shoulders above everybody else.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Commerce. Simply because of that point, they can lose the next 2 and then win the last one. So, I don't. Yeah, I just don't see. It'll probably be too big for Mount Vernon to come out on top in this game. I like Commerce.
Well, the Purple Tigers of Mount Vernon playing at home at Dandy Don Meredith Field. So you got to give them a little edge there just because of the home field advantage. Also, I think I don't know what happened in that Mineola game that Mount Vernon played. Mount Vernon's dominated Mineola the past few years, and for Mineola to beat them 42-27, that was kind of eye-opening. Mount Vernon has to have this game. I mean, they have to have this game to even have a chance at the playoffs. If they lose this game, they're not beating Pottsboro in the final week of the season, so they could pretty much count their postseason hopes gone if they lose. And to the point that we were talking about, Commerce still kind of controls their own destiny. They could lose the next 2 games, beat Mineola in the final week, and get that 4th playoff spot. Because of that, Mount Vernon, it is a bigger game for Mount Vernon. I think they need it more than Commerce needs it at this point. And so give me the Purple Tigers of Mount Vernon.
I'm going with the regular Tigers of Commerce. And, you know, when you've been kicking everybody's behind for so many years, it's that one time you get a chance to just give them, you know what, I know you're struggling a little bit. I'm just going to help you out. You know, I'm going to put you out your misery. Commerce is 6-1. And Mount Vernon's not beating Commerce. Commerce is going to come in. They're going to come in focused. They're going to stomp them. This is a perfect game for them to get. It's a perfect game for Mount Vernon to get stomped. Now, I could be just completely wrong, and Mount Vernon comes out and spoils it for somebody. But I don't think it's – I'm just going to ride the tide. I think Commerce comes in, takes care of business, gets his dub, and they go on a business trip for Commerce.
All right.
Because you got to remember, they win this game. That's the 3rd win. That's pretty much securing themselves a playoff spot at this point.
Yeah, I think
getting in the playoffs either way.
If Commerce wins this week, then I think they're in. Then it's just whether they get the 3 or the 4 seed.
Right.
But
it's just that you win 3, you pretty much in the playoffs.
Well, and the same thing for Mount Vernon. If Mount Vernon wins, they pretty much solidify themselves as a 3 seed. Unless Mineola gets in, then Mineola would jump them with the same record because it's tiebreaker.
Wait, who's in that? So for that district, who would that district have to play in the playoffs? What district would they be?
The Tatum, Jefferson, Atlanta district, 6-3A.
Which is not as strong as in years past. I honestly think besides Jefferson, those other 3 teams will be winnable games in this district.
Yeah, I think whoever gets that 4 seed, whether it be Mineola, Commerce, or Mount Vernon, I don't think they're beating Jefferson. But I think everybody else in 5-3A will beat the 6-3A teams.
Well, this has been some tough picks so far. You can tell because we're all kind of split. There really hasn't been a consensus yet. All right, let's go to game 6. Palestine, Lindale. Interesting matchup. I mean, I've seen Palestine play. I called the Chapel Hill Palestine game, and problem with Palestine is they're very one dimensional. If you get ahead of them and they have to throw, it's pretty much a wrap. But they
Against
do have
Chapel
a
Hill.
what's that?
They threw it against Chapel Hill.
Palestine?
Pretty
No,
much.
Yeah,
no, they threw it like 3 times. It was on play action,
they
but
connected. They
but they
connected
can't.
all 3 times.
Well, but that's not what I'm saying. Like that didn't
I know
help
what
them.
you said.
I mean, they're not gonna step back and change their offense and start throwing it around. That's who they are. Kilgore got ahead of them and was able just to pretty much put them away. The more they have to throw, the worse it is for them. But Lindale's kind of similar. I think they may be able to throw the ball a little bit better than Palestine. They have Clint Thurman. He doesn't throw a whole lot, but he can. I think this game may be the fastest game of the weekend. It's gonna be a lot of running here. The clock's gonna roll. It's in Palestine, which that gives them a little bit of advantage, but I don't know. I see this going 2 ways. Either Lindale's going to come in, they're going to be so like happy they beat the number 1 team in the state, and they just forget to show up and they come out flat, or they use the momentum and they come in and take care of Palestine. I think they're going to use the momentum. I think Lindale's now have something to play for. They're trying to 3-way tie at the least for first place in this district now. And now they're rooting for Chapel Hill. I don't know how the point spread will work, but they're going to probably root for Chapel Hill against Kilgore and hope that Chapel Hill wins and that all that aspect. Or I guess if they lose, they get second. So either way, Lindale has a lot to play for right now. I kind of thought they were the 3rd seed coming into the district play, but they've got a chance to go higher than that. I think they're hungry and they're going to go into Palestine and get the win.
Wow. So listen, it's been a crazy 2 weeks for Lindale. They get blown out. They get absolutely destroyed by Kilgore. It was a back and forth game, and all of a sudden, Kilgore just says, "Okay, Lindale, we're tired of you. Clint Thurman, we're tired of you. Caleb Hart, the running back that got hurt, we're tired of you. We're just gonna flat out blow y'all out because we believe that we're the best defense in this district." Well, then Friday night, and I was in attendance of that game. Then Lindale beats Chapel Hill. Now, me personally, I thought that based off with what happened to them with Kilgore, I'm like, really, they ain't got nothing to play for. Because a lot of people are going to say, okay, they're really not good, like some of us may have betrayed them to be. I didn't have Lindale making the playoffs this year, simply because of the guys that they lost from last year. But they're probably gonna make the playoffs this year. So with that win, especially with Clint Thurman running for over 300 yards on Friday against the Chapel Hill defense, that we all thought that was going to contain him the whole night. Um, he's going to be confident. Caleb Hart, the backup running back that took over for number 0, he's a stud too. And I just don't see how Palestine, their defense, can. I don't see in a scenario where they can handle that offense, because that offense is now confident. Like, they feel like they can beat anybody, um, except for probably Kilgore. So Lindale's probably going to win this game. Yes, it is going to be a little bit of a track meet. But Palestine, I don't think that they'll stop Lindale on Friday. So I'm going to go with Lindale.
I think I think Palestine. I think Palestine could get the 4th spot in district. I think it'll come down to that final week when they play Athens, and the winner of that game will get the 4th spot. If Lindale goes out and lays an egg against Palestine, then whatever they just did against Chapel Hill means absolutely nothing. Just with the emotion that the Lindale that I've seen on Facebook, and obviously I wasn't at the game, but I've seen it on Facebook and just talking to some people from Lindale, the excitement and pride that they have that they just beat Chapel Hill, the number 1 team in the state. I don't see a letdown coming this week. If anything, I think Lindale will be more hyper focused to go out and prove a point. Like, look, we are for real. Like, yes, we got beat by Kilgore. Kilgore's a good football team, but we just beat Chapel Hill, who's a really good football team. And I think Lindale is out to make a point. So I don't see them dropping to Palestine. I'm taking the Eagles.
There's blood in the water. And I'm not trying to be negative, but I think Palestine's going to win this game. And it has nothing to do with momentum or not. This is another one of those trap games. You just beat the number 1 team in the state. And everything's going for you at this point. And I'm not being no hater. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just kind of setting it up for a second. This is a game with Lindale knowing they have to have. They have to have this game, right? It's for good momentum. You know what I'm saying? I mean, second place is on the line. True, got you. I think they're a better football team than what we gave them. I think they're playing very hard. Whatever one-dimensional that they're doing, it's working for them at this point. But Palestine is the exact same football team. Only difference is Palestine has better athletes. I don't think their offensive line is better than Palestine. I mean, better than Lindale, but Palestine's got better athletes. And this is one of those trap games. You come in, Lindale comes in, and they don't play particularly well, to block particularly well. Palestine can get an easy. I'm saying they get an easy win, but they can take it to the point where we're kind of nervous a little bit. So Lindale's got to consistently play well Friday night if they want to come out of there with a win. That's all I'm saying. But I'm picking Palestine for the win because I think I just blood and water. I'd be nervous if I'm Lindale. Like I know we got momentum. I understand that. That's great. But Palestine's not a bad football team. They took some tough breaks this year, but they could easily get a win. If things happen and things go south, they could easily steal a game from Lindale.
But here's the thing. I just think that Lindale's more disciplined than what Palestine is.
No, they're disciplined. No, it has nothing to do with discipline. I understand that. It's just if you played your best football, like Chapel Hill took Lindale's best. I don't think they could have played any better than that. And we all know Chapel Hill could have played better. Let's just be honest. They took Lindale's best shot, and they took Palestine's best shot. And both of those teams are fighting. And now Lindale can't go back from there. So I think Lindale's going to give Palestine their best shot. Is Palestine going to give Lindale their best shot? Palestine has to win this football game. This is a home game. They have to win this football game. And I think Palestine is a little bit better than Lindale because they have better athletes. That's all I'm saying. And I think they have to win this game. I'm betting on the team with the better athletes and the notion that they have to win that football game. That's all. That's how I put it.
Yeah, so right now you got Kilgore 4-0, Lindale is at 3-1, and Athens and Chapel at 2-1. So, I know Athens has got a tougher finish schedule than Palestine, but that's that game you're talking about, Kyle. It could come down to Athens and Palestine. But if they're able to knock off Lindale here, like Corey's stating, it would make it a lot easier for them to make the playoffs. So that Athens game might not be as important. So
is Chapel Hill and Athens tied for third?
Correct.
Oh my God. That district just got
you've got
interesting.
Yeah, you've got basically Kilgore sitting by themselves, and then Glendale right behind them at 3-1 with their only loss to Kilgore, and then you've got Athens, Chapel Hill 2-1, Palestine 1-2, Henderson 0-3, and Jacksonville 0-4. So, because
I know we don't think like very highly of District 10, but to touch on Chapel Hill, if they are only the third seed or the second seed, that's going to be tough because I don't know who's the leading District 10 right now. I believe it's Vider or one. I don't know. I forgot, but I know LCM. I think they're good or whatever, but I'm just saying it's cruise control for Kilgore right now, but Lindale, they cannot get complacent, okay? Because let's not forget, yeah, they just beat Chapel Hill, but they got wiped off the face of the earth by Kilgore. So they cannot get complacent.
All right, just so you know here, that other district, you got LCM is 2-0, Lumberton 2-0, Huffman Hargrave 1-1, Livingston 1-1, Splendora 0-2, Vider 0-2. That's just what they've got so far. So I think that district's kind of one of those. It's anybody can beat anybody.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that more, I'm sure, as we get closer to the playoffs. But next up, Game 7, Center and Carthage. Yeah, this one is going to mean a little bit more now as Center, they're looking to prove themselves after Van knocked them off last week. Man, I don't know. I don't think that Center's got enough defense to stop Carthage. I think that we kind of saw what happened to them last week. Van was able to come from behind. They got off to a good start. It was a 29-28 game at halftime. Center was up, and then Van came out in the second half, made some adjustments, and looked pretty good. And I'm sure Kyle can give us some information on this game. But
I'll wait till Wednesday.
Oh, you're going to save it. Oh, so that make everybody come back to Wednesday evening.
I have some stats for you on that game, but I'll wait till Wednesday.
I like it.
Wait till Wednesday then.
Wednesday evening, because this is technically airing Wednesday morning. So.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true. Yes, I'll wait till Wednesday. I'll wait till tonight. Come back tonight.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Either way, I'm going with Carthage. The Red Dogs are going to take this one.
Yeah, I don't think this is really I mean, Center got absolutely exposed last week. One of the I know somebody from I have a cousin who used to go to Center, and he told me that their team looked like Chapel Hill on Friday. They have a good offense, but their defense leaves a lot to be desired. And their defense did not play well. I mean, literally, Van ran straight RPO, and they just ran right up the middle. I mean, it wasn't even fair. It was hard to watch because I watched it. I was able to go back and watch that entire game, little bits of it. So Carthage has the better team. I wish Vince was here so I could tell him that to his face. But no, Carthage might win this thing by 3 touchdowns, maybe 4.
This is easy for me. It's Carthage. Center hasn't stopped anybody all year long. They won't stop anybody next week or this week. Carthage will win. Center's got a good team, just can't stop anybody, and that's a problem. They have great athletes, but and we'll talk about this more tonight. But the problem is tackling. Like they're there, they just don't make the tackle, and so that's kind of a big issue that Center has. But yeah, Carthage. I don't think Carthage overlooks Center. I think they look forward to next week when they got to play Van for a district title, and yeah, I'm taking Carthage.
I think Van just scored another touchdown, Kyle.
They may have. They actually. Yep, I hear the horn going off. Yep, they just scored again.
Okay.
I'm picking Carthage. I think if Center would have beat Van, I probably would have picked Center. And I don't think Carthage is as strong as they are, as strong as they used to be. So y'all can tell where I'm going with this one. But anyway, I'm picking Carthage. I'm picking Carthage in this game.
Okay.
Center let me down.
Corey's in sad mode there.
But here's the thing: even if they still would have beat Van, even if they would have beat Van, I still would have picked Carthage to win this game because just saying their defense, Center's defense is pretty upsetting to watch sometimes, especially Friday.
All right. Game 8. Playoff implications on the line for Bullard in this one is they're going to travel to Rusk to take on the Rusk Eagles. Man, this one's a big game for Bullard, and they've already lost to Brownsboro, so they're already behind the 8 ball. I don't even know if they've got a chance to still get in at this point. It would be difficult, but they've got to have the rest of their games. They've got to have this one over Rusk. Of course, Rusk is still trying to stay in for that final spot. Just kind of looking through. I wanted to pull up the district standings here because I really do think that. Let's see. We got Van and Carthage at 4-0. We got Center at 2-1. Brownsboro at 1-2. Bullard 1-2. Rusk is 0-3, guys. So they're 0-3, but their losses are to Center, Van, and Carthage. Okay, so they've got the easier part of their schedule ahead of them. So Rusk controls their own destiny. If they take care of Bullard, Brownsboro, Canton, then they'll be in. Okay. Now you've got Bullard on the other hand, who's already lost to Brownsboro and Carthage. They still have Center and Van on their schedule. So Bullard, they're in the playoffs right now. They've got to win pretty much at least 2 out of the 3 of the next games. So you would think that this Rusk one is one they want to take, because the other 2, it's going to get harder as they go. To me, though, right now, I just think Coach Sitton and Rusk, they've just played a tough schedule. I think they're going to settle in and take care of the rest of these 3 games, and they're going to get the 4th spot. I don't think Van kind of exposed them. They did compete against Center, and so I think they're that solid 4 spot in this district. Unfortunately for them, if they claim that 4 spot, they're going to have a tough opening round opponent against some Pleasant Grove team from up north. But for now, I think they win this week and they pick up the win at home.
I think this is what Coach Sitton likes, to kind of like. I know he doesn't like losing. I mean, I think all 4 of us know that. But, I think this is kind of like, while he's not happy to be in this position, he technically is happy because now he knows what's in front of him. I think that Rusk is more motivated. I think they have the better team. They have better athletes, and they're probably disciplined better. But Bullard's team right now, it's a toss-up. It's hard to figure out what they really are. I mean, they didn't play anybody in non-district. Non-district, they kind of just like went through that until they got to Carthage, and I just don't think that Bullard will win out. Because it's Carthage, Van, and Center, or it's Carthage, Center, and Van right now, right?
Yes.
Those 3 spots. So that final spot is going to be tough. I'm gonna go ahead and say Rusk. Now I know when they probably get that, if they do get that final spot. You said that one of them, whoever gets that final spot, will have to play Pleasant Grove, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Just what I think with this one, I think Rusk is going to end up coming down to that Rusk Brownsboro game in Brownsboro next week if things fall the way I think they fall, which that doesn't always mean that's going to happen, because evidently I didn't do very well last week in my pick'ems. That's just from what I see. That's where it's going to fall. I think it's going to be Rusk and Brownsboro for a play-in game, technically there for that 4 spot.
But yeah, but I'm gonna take Rusk on this one.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think either one of these teams make the playoffs. I think Brownsboro gets that 4th spot. I think Brownsboro beats Rusk next week when they play each other. But as far as this week goes, Bullard's been in some tight games. They lost to Brownsboro by 6, 34-28. They beat Canton by 7, 28-21. Rusk has just, I get it. They've played the top 3 toughest teams in the district, but I mean, outside of that Center game, they really haven't been competitive in those games. They got beat by Van 35-3, and then Carthage 49-14. I get it; those are top teams in the district. But even the loss to Athens early in the year, 45-38, I don't trust this Rusk team. Truthfully, I don't trust Bullard very much either. But I think Bullard I think Bullard will come out and get the win on Friday night. So give me the Panthers.
I'm going Bullard. I'm not. Bullard's got to have it. You know, if they want to survive and remain competitive, like KO said, I think Brownsboro's going to take that district spot. Bullard had to beat Brownsboro; they couldn't do it. But if they want to, you know, at least make something of this season and try to finish above 500, they got to beat Bullard. I mean, they got to beat Rusk. Like that's what you're going for right now. Honestly, in a district like this, if you can win 6 games, you know, not district like, but a season like they had in this district, you know, I'd take a 5th place spot. You know, I hadn't been to the playoffs for so long, but you know, it's a consolation prize at this point. You know, I at least want to finish above 500. So, but if I'm Bullard, this is what I'm going for at this point. Just play every game like it's a championship game at this point. So I'm going Bullard.
All right. Game 9. A really good matchup that I've been looking forward to is Honey Grove versus Cooper. I've looked at this one. I've done some research. Both these teams are just really good. We've talked about how Honey Grove's defense, they finally gave up 3 points. So they have given up points now. So, but Cooper is really good. We talked about it last year. I think Vince went and saw them play, was very impressed. They've got a lot of guys up front. You got Honey Grove now 3-0 in district. Cooper 3-0 in district. It's basically for the district championship. Cooper's has lost a game but it was to Hooks. So, you know, we now know how good Hooks is. And they're also a bigger classification. So, you know, that's a step up. They only lost to them by 7. That's an impressive loss to me. I know we've kind of been back and forth about the quality loss theory. But I think to me, that's impressive. The game is at Honey Grove, which I think that'll help them a little bit. But I think Cooper goes in and they beat Honey Grove to solidify themselves as the best team in this district.
This is probably for just these schools. This is probably the game that I think you know we've all circled on our calendar as far as that district is concerned. Cooper is very explosive on offense. They're really explosive, but so is Honey Grove. I think Cooper walks in and takes this one. I think they have the better team. And really, it's going to come down to both defenses, to be honest with you. It's going to come down to those two. Can either team, whatever team it is, can they get stops? And we all know that both these teams are going to get in the red zone a lot all night. So I'm going to go with Cooper.
Well, I've been saying defense wins championships. I'm not straying away from that. Give me the Honey Grove Warriors. They have only given up 3 points in 6 games. And it's not like they're just winning these games barely. 62-0, 63-0, 47-0, 47-0, 54-0, 47-3. Like they have been completely dominating teams. Whereas Cooper has been giving up some points. They gave up 14 to Grand Saline, 27 to Lone Oak, 35 to Collinsville, 7 to Wolf City, 12 to Rivercrest, and then 8 to Como-Picton last week. I just think this is Honey Grove's year to – they're not going to win a state championship or anything else. Let's not get crazy. But I do think Honey Grove is the better team this year than Cooper, so give me the Warriors.
Honey Grove, although I would say I've been trying to avoid calling them Holly Grove. Shout out to Lil Wayne.
Shout out.
I'm like, dude, I've been trying to not call them Holly Grove for so long. No, it's Honey Grove. Yeah, I'm picking Honey Grove. Honey Grove. I like that name.
All right. Game 10. District implications on the line as Troop host the West Rusk Raiders. Man, we've been talking about this one for a few weeks, how we were ready for this matchup. It is in Troop. We talked about the home field. Man, just looking at the way Troop has played lately, they just haven't. I mean, they haven't been super. They've won, but I look at West Rusk and I see they're 5-2 on the year. Their losses are to Malakoff. They're pretty good. Tatum, they're a bigger school. I heard there was some injuries that they had 3 or 4 guys that weren't available in that game. It was in Tatum. You know, I'll let that by. They did beat Mineola. They beat Sabine pretty handily. Sabine's improved this year. They've played a tougher schedule by far than Troop has. Troop is 7-0. Troop played White Oak. They're down. Carlisle's not as good as they have been. Paul Pewett's not in Buffalo. None of these teams are any good. I saw a team go into ARP last week and sneak out with a win at the end of in the fourth quarter. They were able to score and get away. Now, West Rusk handled ARP pretty handily. So I'm just looking at how they've played. I think the West Rusk Raiders go into Troop and take the district championship. I wouldn't have probably thought I said that 3 or 4 weeks ago, but I just think right now West Rusk is playing better football.
Yeah, and you know, it all comes down to that. West Rusk is playing better football right now. Troop hasn't had much of a schedule. I think we've talked about that. They really haven't played the schedule that West Rusk has played, or anybody in the district. Because even I think their non-district was kind of easy. You know, to be honest with you, Troop, like we said, they barely escaped ARP. And West Rusk came there and handled ARP, you know, pretty easily a little bit. But no, I don't think, and this game might be won by 10 points. I'm gonna be honest with you. This game might be won by 10 points simply because Troops Troops defense, the one thing I've noticed about them, what they do is that, you know, they kind of have, you know, I've noticed this all year pretty much. They get some good leads and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden they give it up. They give it up, and we see absolute chaos the entire game, and they barely survive. What they've been hanging on to is pretty much the running game. You know, they kind of have a little bit of a short passing game, a little bit, but they have not played a good schedule, and every time they have played somebody, it's been close, pretty much, almost close. So, and that art game kind of a little bit disappointed me with Troop last week. So I'm gonna go West Russ to take down Troop.
This is actually our red zone game of the week this week, so I'll be in Troop for Troop and West Russ. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing Trey Davis. Heard a lot about Trey Davis, and I'm excited to finally see him in action. I have Troop written down, but the more that I hear y'all talk, the more I'm starting to sway towards West Rusk. I'm with you. I just went back and looked at who Troop played in non-district. White Oak is 0-7, so they're pretty good. Carlisle is 3-4. Buffalo's 3-4. Pewett's 1-7. So yeah, they're non-district, not tough at all. And when you look at West Rusk non-district, you got Malakoff. We know how good they are. Tatum is a very good football team. Mineola, they beat Mineola, but Mineola is not bad. We've seen Mineola beat Mount Vernon, who we just, you know, some of us thought that Mount Vernon's gonna win this week. So, and then Sabine, we know what Sabine is, but do we really? Because they just lost to Gladewater, who was winless.
Yeah,
so I don't know. I think West Rusk, I would say maybe slightly they've had a harder schedule. But the thing is with the district opponents, just like the ARP game, and West Rusk blew out ARP by 30, but Troop and ARP, that's a 7-mile rivalry. I think you could throw records out at that point. It doesn't matter if Troop wins by a point or by a touchdown or by 100 points. It doesn't matter. It's a win for Troop, and I think that will help them.
Chris, West Rusk and ARP is a big rivalry too. All three of those are kind of it's not the same rivalry, but it is a pretty big rivalry too.
I am waffling on this. I have no idea who to pick.
there's some good ones on this pick'em this week. It's been tough.
Kyle, I'll help you out. Listen, Troops. Crap, my sheet. I absolutely lost it.
Okay, so no help for me then.
So,
appreciate you, Christian.
No. I'll give you some help. All right, Troops defense. Like I said, you remember what I said? They have good leads. And for some odd reason, they just, to me, they remind me. They remind me of the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it right now. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. They remind me of Philadelphia.
The Eagles. He's gonna pick them.
Okay.
Disrespect.
So
Disrespect.
So here's the thing. You cannot trust their defense. If you're a head coach of Troop, you cannot trust their defense. Like we always say, their offense can be the greatest thing since a slice of bread and cheese. And they can score 1 million points on offense the whole year, and their defense is straight up mediocre. Okay, we talked about that with Center. We talked about that with Chapel Hill. We pretty much kind of talked about that with White House. I would just look at it like, okay, their defense really ain't that good. They always give up big leads. Rusk is the better team when it comes to going up against a defense like that. West Rusk, I'm sorry. Not Rusk, West Rusk.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm sorry I had to throw you a curveball.
This has already been a curveball. Corey, you go ahead, Corey. Corey, who you got?
Corey's already made his decision, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I already made my decision. I'm going for the Troop Tigers. Shout out to Trey Davis, for his commitment to Wazoo. I understand Troop hadn't had the toughest schedule, right? But after a while, you kind of build confidence in your team, right? We know what we have. I know what West Rusk has. I also know what we have, right? We've been beating people. ARP's pretty decent. Everywhere I know, ARP's pretty decent this year. ARP's probably going to be a lot better next year for sure. Troop's already there. Troop's senior lane. They got a lot of seniors on this team. They got a couple of D1 athletes on this team already. I'm picking the ARP Tiger. I'm not picking the ARP. I'm picking the Troop Tiger, the other Tiger. And I don't think it's going to be. I think Troop's going to flex out a little bit. I think Troop is finally going to say, you know what? I'm tired of people saying we ain't played anybody. We're going to take West Rusk for who they are. We're going to beat them. It's a home game. That's what we're going to do. We're going to flex a little bit. Trey Davis is going to go a little. I think he's averaged like 200 and some yards a game. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, he's everywhere on the field. So, but it's ridiculous, man. No, I'm going Troop.
Yeah, but Troop also, they can't rely. They cannot rely on their running game. That is what has gotten them past everybody. All right, I'm literally saying that their defense is not to be trusted in a game like this.
Okay, I made a decision.
Thank you.
All right.
Here we go.
Because Troop is 7-0, but you only play who's on your schedule. I think West Rusk is the better team, I think. So I'm going to take the West Rusk Raiders to beat Troop.
That's fair.
Because this will be the best. West Rusk will be the best team Troop has seen all year long. Troop will not be the best team West Rusk has seen all season. So because of that, give me West Rusk.
Okay, I like that. That's a good explanation. Man, this was a tough week, guys. I think we talked about it a few times, but this may be the toughest one yet. We may have the most close as far as the Pick'em Challenge goes this week. It's going to be a lot of close ones. I don't think there'll be as many of lopsided Pick'em games this week. I think it's going to be a little up in the air.
I'm going 10-0.
10-0. Ooh,
I may go 9-1.
Yeah, I need a 10-0. I need to get one of those so I can try to get some momentum, move back towards the top of the stand.
I need to know who Shivers picked so I can pick against him, so I can gain some ground on him.
See, that's the disadvantage of being on our show call, because they can actually listen to us, and then they could pick against us if they wanted to.
Well, don't do that, Shivers. Go with your gut. Go with your gut. Just stay with who you're
Shivers
going
be
to pick.
Timbers. Shivers be Timbers. Pick somebody else.
Oh man! So Kyle, you said you're going to be at the West Rush Troop game.
Yep.
Christian, where are you going to be?
I will be at the Chapel Hill Henderson game, and I really don't the way the Chapel Hill played, they'll probably win by 2.5 touchdowns, two touchdowns.
Okay,
I'll say 30.
I was like, wow.
But I was like, I'm tripping.
Two touchdowns.
2 touchdowns. They'll win by 2 touchdowns. They'll
Honestly,
win 30.
I think, and it's just me, I think they're going to come out with blood, and they're going to just beat Henderson.
I think Chapel Hill hangs 70 this week.
Yeah, I think
they might put up 100. They might put up 100.
Henderson's catching Chapel Hill at a very bad time.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with
you don't.
Personally, I hope they hang 70 on them, simply because I don't like Henderson. Okay, let's be honest. I do not like Henderson. All right, they beat. When I used to have beef with some of the guys who I used to go to school that were in our class, in our 2023 class. I used to have beef with them all the time. I didn't play against them my 7th grade year. My 8th grade year, we lost, and if it had not been for Carthage, we wouldn't have won the district title in 8th grade. 9th grade, I didn't get to play, and those guys counted that as a loss. They were like, oh, even though y'all beat us 30-47, you didn't play, so that counted as a loss. And then the year after that, a kicker snagged on 2 players on our defense. A kicker, the last second of the game. And then we finally got them my junior year and my senior year. So I don't like Henderson. So I hope that Chapel Hill does hang 70.
I'll actually be in Bullard for a doubleheader, a volleyball football doubleheader on Friday, as the Dallas Christian Chargers will come to town, and they'll be taking on Brook Hill in both volleyball and football. We'll have the volleyball game will start at 4:30, and then I'll go pack up, head over to the tailgate, give me some grub, and then go up and set up for a football game. Which the number 1 team in the state comes to town for Brook Hill, the Dallas Christian Chargers. It's going to be a good one. Basically, it'll be for the number 1 seed, both teams coming in undefeated in district play. So should be a good one. I know.
So that's why Jeremy couldn't be here tonight, because he's scheming to figure out how to stop Dallas Christian.
He might be.
I respect it.
He might be, or he might be setting up for a golf tournament that is tomorrow for the Brook Hill. They have a big golf tournament that's a big fundraiser for the athletic department. So that's where he is. But yeah, he might be scheming as well. But yeah, it's going to be a big Friday night there on the campus of Brook Hill. So a lot going on there. And I think that's going to do it for us this morning on Wednesday morning. Make sure you tune in tonight to our weekly wrap-up show. We'll talk about last week's games. Kyle's got a lot of good information, so you want to miss it. He's holding out on us. He's got some good stuff. 8:30 p.m. on NETSN. The Power Plus mouth guard, Beasts from the East show. This was episode 8, I believe. No, 9. We are at 9 episodes now, guys. So can't believe it's already almost the end of the season. We got lots of big games this week, so good luck in your pick'ems. Remember, Jason Shivers, don't try to copy us. Okay, we're trying to catch you.
Pick your own teams.
But for Christian, Kyle, and Corey, I'm Brett. We'll catch you next time right here on NETSN. See you later.
Truly, before now, I didn't really know what actually a mouthpiece was designed for, other than to keep you from clinking your teeth together or biting your tongue. I had no idea that it was to align your jaw. The season that we did not use the Power Plus, we lost 4 kids, 2 that were season-ending concussions, and obviously we contributed to the Power Plus mouth guard because, like I said, we've not had one since we've been using them. Obviously, we've competed a lot better than what we did last year. We have not had a concussion this season. Obviously, a tremendous factor for us for not losing kids, and their performance level is a lot higher as well. My son was actually the quarterback on the second state championship team, but one of the things that he was able to do as being the quarterback, the mouth guard was on the lower part of his bite, so he was able to speak clearly. And that's a huge thing in athletics, is to be able